Hey, what is going on, SMT Nation? It's your boy, the SMT. We're going to talk about T-Mobile today in this video, two parts. We're going to take a look at the story coming out of Fierce Wireless, and then we'll kind of lay out some predictions for tomorrow's earnings report. So to kind of start with the part, about T-Mobile and business accounts and enterprise. This is essentially a frontier of business operations that T-Mobile doesn't really have any type of presence. They have a very small market share when it comes to business accounts. They haven't in the past been taken very seriously in this realm. There are some small businesses who have decided to, take their accounts and take their money and spend it with T-Mobile. T-Mobile has always been the better value proposition, better pricing. And, if you have a business account with T-Mobile, they give you, very good quality attention, taking care of the needs of the business, trying to offer certain business perks and associated features. But up to this point, they haven't really caught traction in that way. And part of it, I think, is the fact that their nationwide network footprint has not been there. The perception amongst the market has always been you go with either AT&T or Verizon for business accounts. And it makes sense. Those are two enormous companies. Those are the names that businesses know. And those are the companies that people use for their personal wireless accounts. So it makes sense that, you get the mind share, you get the market share. So, some of that is starting to change a little bit. I think T-Mobile's getting traction in the consumer space, now with the merger and the elimination of Sprint, and then what they're doing with 5G and forging ahead and innovating in that space. It allows them to kind of be at the forefront, and their advertising and their marketing is on fire, and they've done a lot of things the right way to garner that attention from the John Ledger era all the way now through the post-merger era. So they're going to go ahead and they're going to ramp up their efforts in getting mind share and market share, not only in business accounts, but also in enterprise accounts, which they're a little bit different because with enterprise, it's really about network as a service. There's a couple of things that might hinder them here. I think the first part is I don't think they're far ahead enough in their IoT and what they want to do with enterprise and what they can do in new use cases for 5G. But again, I've been following those stories closely. I've been looking at those innovations in labs and other things. Their R&D is in the right direction. And it may not be up to Verizon, for example, or it may not be exactly up to AT&T, but I'm sure they're getting there, and they've got, like I said, when the merger happened, there's a lot of stuff that is going to, show up on T-Mobile's plate that was never there before. And they're just going to have to learn to scale and, to hit these marks in these different segments. So should things change for T-Mobile, which I think they can, there's a lot of room for improvement in these business segments and these enterprise types accounts. I also think not only that, there's just great potential. The ceiling is very high and it's a new business segment. So it creates a revenue stream that didn't exist before. And T-Mobile's going to want to be in on that. You can't just let Verizon take it all. You can't just let AT&T take the other part. You're going to have to compete in that way. So the enterprise market, along with business accounts, I think, maybe T-Mobile's goal within the next couple of years is to double their business account footprint. If they've got, 6 to 10% market penetration in business, try to double that, 15 to 20% within a couple of years. And then from that, I think the enterprise solutions kind of fall into place. And of course, with their swath of mid-band, and also I think they could probably start to take millimeter wave a little bit more seriously. I like their chances there as well. There's only 3 competitors. Dish isn't ready. Dish, who knows what's going to happen there, whether it's IoT, business, enterprise, or consumer. We just don't know. But T-Mobile has a chance to do this. There's a lot of headroom. There's a lot of potential. And it really just depends on their execution. Because a lot of the times with these types of accounts, when you're working in the enterprise segment, obviously Verizon has the advantage, mind share, market share, and all those things. And clearly they're doing this millimeter wave thing at an incredible pace. And they've already locked in accounts. So at some point, T-Mobile's going to have to do the same thing. And I think they're going to tag it here. And the story from Fierce Wireless kind of highlights it. But again, a huge market potential for them. And we'll see how it plays out. I'll be following these items closely. Now, the second part is May 4th. That's tomorrow at the time of this recording. What is T-Mobile going to do for their earnings? Okay, so when I look back at the last 28, 29 quarters, 30 quarters, T-Mobile's always hit 1 million subscribers added, right? Or 1 million lines added. I think the only time it didn't happen was either Q2 or Q3 of last year, 100% pandemic related. So regardless of how they frame it, free lines and all that stuff, we've talked about this on the podcast. It doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, investors, T-Mobile's marketing team, they're just going to push that narrative. So I expect at least 1 million ads. It's only not happened one time, so why wouldn't it happen again? All right, so I think it's going to be a big quarter in that way. I think the revenue is also going to continue to accelerate. They're catching stride with the Sprint integrations, the merger, with the network. I think a lot of that's going to help them. I'm sure there's going to be some churn. I think more from, obviously, the Sprint issues that are related to the networking. But I think they are making improvements with the network, and getting more and more people on the 5G network helps them with that. Getting them in the 5G phones, the Samsung A32 special, these different types of promotions helps them in that way. And I think T-Mobile's smart to try to accelerate, people migrated over in that way, as opposed to trying to fandangle them into these LTE devices and whatever else. But things seem to be working at a decent clip. I don't think there's too many problems. We haven't seen failures or outages in a while. That's good. I've predicted that might happen again, maybe sometime this summer. I just feel like they're going to need to dump a bunch of customers at once, and that could happen, and that could affect churn rates, but maybe not this quarter, maybe later. Remember, we're talking about Q1 2021 here. One more thing that I'm really hoping we get from T-Mobile tomorrow is going to be how many ads they got on the T-Mobile home internet side. If we're going to see any growth, any expansion of the footprint of where they're going to be offering it and where they cover it, I think that's huge. This is their chance, again, like I've said before, to get ahead of Verizon and fixed wireless and get that market penetration before Verizon gets C-band going on a national scale. So we'll see if they mention any of that. So I expect a big quarter. I expect revenues up. I expect good news from T-Mobile. Obviously, they want to paint the picture very magenta and rosy for investors. Today, the market actually was a little bit low on T-Mobile. I'm not really sure. We could see a correction tomorrow, if the numbers are good. So we'll see what happens. But I would like to ask you, the viewers, the commenters of the SMT Nation, what do you think of T-Mobile's chances in enterprise and business? What do you think of their, the predictions that you might have for their quarter one earnings report tomorrow? I kind of gave you my take. I'd love to hear what you have to say. The voice of the people, the SMT Nation. Go ahead and sound off in the comment section below and let me know what you think, your thoughts, opinions, and perspectives. And if you're a real one and you watch this all the way through, go ahead and hashtag Magenta. Hashtag Magenta for this video. Thanks for taking the time to watch, and we'll catch you all in the next video. Peace. Thank you for taking this opportunity to watch the SMT YouTube channel. If you appreciated this video, give it a like and a share to all your favorite social media platforms. Thank you in advance for that. Also, check out some of the links in the description box. We have the SMT Patreon page. We also have the Twitter handle @SneedTech. And do check out the audio-only podcast available on all the major podcast platforms. And if you are new, have not subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and activate the bell notification icon so you never miss an upload from the SMT. We'll catch you on the next video. Peace.